Season 1 of Project Bedrock is coming to a close in a little over a week. The last day that we will be recording is on the 28th, which gives me exactly 10 days to make this video. But don't worry, this is not just going to be any video, this is going to be a grand finale. If you have not already noticed by the length of this video, it is going to be a very long one. More of a movie, if you will. But it's going to conclude all of the stuff, or at least most of the stuff that I wanted to get done before wrapping up the season. So with that being said, I have a whole lot of stuff to do. Let's jump into it. So in typical xrsbuilt fashion, I've been very busy finishing up the nether tunnel leading out to the nether hub there, and then also wrap this corner around to lead into the main nether tunnel, which leads of course out to my nether district. We also have some pretty cool banners that GG put together, which is here to point all of the people that download the world out to the ice tunnel. And if we fly this direction, we'll be able to see the ice tunnel that I'm talking about after a quick cut, because this tunnel is very, very long. So at the end of my tunnel here, we have a new ice tunnel with some fantastic looking banners that were put together by GG. And then we also have this awesome looking new ice tunnel, which leads all the way out to the boat race course. And this was put together by Renee on the server and also one of the server guests named Dot. And then after a very long flight or boat ride, it's going to turn to the left and continue down until you get to that portal, which is of course the portal that takes you out to the boat race. This tunnel came out fantastic and it looks super good. Thank you guys. And then leading out to the nether district area, you can see that I have been very, very busy literally raising the roof, and it typically wouldn't be that big of a deal aside from where in the nether, and the nether has a bunch of lava lakes that had to be removed. Yes, and what a good time I had doing it, but with a whole bunch of noob juice I was able to get it done and remove pretty much, I think, all of the area that I'm going to need in order to build what I want in here. I don't know, we'll have to see if we have enough room. If anything, I might just have to raise up the roof a little bit more, but as you can see, we have a nice new window. Now, unfortunately, this will probably be covered up because it's kind of in the wrong location, and if I made a window here looking out, I thought it would be cool, but it's kind of going to be hard having that nether fortress right over top of us. However, I have not quite finalized the design, so we'll see how it ends up as I build it. Now, thankfully, because of all of these guys packing in here, that basically makes a mob switch, so we didn't have to worry about any gas or blaze or anything coming down here and giving us a hard time, which was very nice. But the lava, yeah, that was hard enough. That sucked. With that being said, let's jump into a time lapse, and hopefully it comes out okay being inside of a tight confined area like this. Let's jump into it, see what we can't get built in here. Let's go. I don't even know how to navigate this place anymore. I don't even know where I'm at. It's so different compared to what I'm used to, but it looks so good. So this is the entrance hall, and as you might remember, we have that leading up to our fortress farm, and then of course the ice road that goes back to the shopping district. Everything else in this direction is totally different, as you might have noticed from the time lapse. If we go over down here to the left, this is the only area that is still the same. Nothing has really changed down here. And then if we go this way and look towards the left, we have a new room with the piglin bartering system. The farm is exactly the same except for all of the aesthetics, so it looks a whole lot nicer, and then everything will still go down to that room below. We have a door over there, that way we can make our way out, and also a door here, which comes through a little hallway. And this hallway kind of wraps around the underside of this balcony here. If we walk out here, this will bring us into the main room. And in here, I did something different that I really wasn't comfortable with, and that was building with new purple blocks. And that was building with a purple color palette. See, I really had a over accumulation of crying obsidian from the farm. It's something that continuously piled up, and I really wasn't quite sure how to use it because, well, it's not something that you really need a lot of. And to be honest, realistically, I just scratched the surface on the amount of crying obsidian that I have. But at least we use some of it. You can see that we have some designs going all the way around here. And the main reason for that is to break up the blackstone on blackstone. Now on the front facade here, I did change these out to deep slate and tried a few different block palettes. However, I came back to the blackstone because that was by far my favorite, even though it was blackstone against blackstone. So without adding in the lighting and also these decorations, you would essentially run into the blackstone blending into the blackstone, which really didn't look good in my opinion. So adding this in, especially adding the lighting behind it, which keep in mind the crying obsidian puts out light as well, that really helps break up the textures being the same, and also makes it look like the wall in the back is a lighter texture than the wall in the front, even though it's the exact same block. Over here on the right hand side, we have the Guardian farm. I changed out all of the glass to fit the purple theme, and I think that it really looks good. Now down here I haven't really changed much. This is where all of the drops go down. But as far as how the 4 Trident Killers look, I think it looks really well having all of the purple glass in there. I also did go with some crimson flooring all the way around here, and then some crimson fences as well. I think that it looks really good up against the blackstone. And in order to tie in all of that crimson, I ended up adding some redstone in these designs, which I think really helps pull it all together. If we turn around and look at the center, I ended up putting this flooring in. I'm still not 100% sold on it, so if you have any recommendations, let me know down inside of the comments below. But I think for what it is, it does look really nice using the crying obsidian. We also have some of the amethyst blocks in here, and some purple carpets covering up all of the frog lights. Speaking of frog lights, I also have some frog lights up above inside of this custom made chandelier, which I kind of mixed all of the materials together. And I was kind of going for some type of goth theme, and with me not being a really experienced builder, especially with chandeliers, I think that it came out alright. Aside from the main chandelier room, we can go through this doorway here, and I added in another platform right behind here. We got this staircase going up, and then we also have a little cubby hole in here if we need to get into here for any reason. And then if we go up here, the platform that I built is right up here, and to the left is a staircase which is going to bring us up to that second floor. This is going to wrap all the way around and then come out on top of the balconies. So as far as it goes up here, there's really not anything too functional, just more or less aesthetics, but I think, as I've said over and over again, it really came together rather well. This is of course going to be just breaking the surface as to what I plan on building in Season 2. Season 2 is where I'm definitely going to be pushing myself more than I ever have in order to become a better builder. I unfortunately didn't really get the chance to do that this season because we started with very few members. I think we only had 4 starting off. And unfortunately that meant that in order to make a shopping district where everybody can come and grab all of their stuff that they need in order to succeed on this SMP, that each member was going to need to sell quite the substantial amount of items. So with this season I ended up making a lot of farms, as you know, especially if you've been watching this from day one. And that is because I needed to sell pretty much everything that I could in order to provide to the other members. Stating that I am the creator of this SMP, I kind of take it personal, and I just wanted to give them the best start that I possibly could. That way it ensured their success. So now that we are going into Season 2 with 14 members as of the time of recording this, there's going to be a whole lot more members to build a lot more shops and hopefully sell a plethora of items. That way we have the most amount of materials to choose from, and if everybody's pitching in, well, it's not going to be nearly as hard as Season 1. So I know that this is pretty much a crazy build, but let me tell you, we are just getting started, so let's move on to our next project. And you might already guess what's next on the agenda, the factory. Let's jump into a time lapse and get this thing finished. Let's go. That is a wrap. The factory is done. It is finally done and I cannot wait to show it to you. However, before we go over there, I do want to take a moment and show you a few things inside of the town hall. As previously mentioned, this is going to be my last episode on the Project Bedrock server, and it's a little bittersweet to be honest. But with how bittersweet it is, we are moving on to Season 2, and Season 2 I'm sure is going to be much better than this last season. And that is setting the bar pretty high because this season has been phenomenal. Now maybe I'm just an overachiever, but there's still a ton of stuff that I wanted to get done. Unfortunately, I just ran out of time. I've been super busy IRL and just haven't really had the time to finish up all of the little projects that I wanted to. Next season I am going to be adding some rules to myself personally that's going to hold myself more accountable. That way I don't have too many unfinished projects. I'll be going over those in the beginning of Season 2, Episode 1. With that being said, let's focus on Season 1 before it is gone and it is too late. What we have here is a room with all of the members that have participated in Season 1. And each one is on a pedestal with a chest behind them. And inside of that chest, there's going to be a compass and also a book and quill. The book and quill is optional for that member if they want to go ahead and write something in here. And the compass is going to take you to their base. Now, some members participated on the server a lot more than others. And a few members joined but didn't really get a chance to actually start and build because we were at the end of the season and there really wasn't a reason to. Now with that being said, I will go ahead and tell you who will not be following us to Season 2. And unfortunately they have prior arrangements inside of their life and they really just don't have the extra time in order to make content, which is totally understandable. Everybody here is still on good terms and we are all still friends. However, unfortunately some of these guys will not be following us to Season 2. And those people that's not going to be following us is going to be DarkJ 101, DeathSkullPain, and also over here we have Buckee that's not going to be following us. We are going to have myself, Renee, Gigi, MossLogic, Puggy, Dark Knight, Incarceron, Merely Adequate, Sign Vector. Oh, you thought that I was going to tell you who the new members are that's joining. Nope, unfortunately you're going to have to wait until Season 2, Episode 1 to figure that out for yourselves. What do you say we go on a little tour and fly around and see what everybody has created in Season 1? And I think the easiest way to show you will probably be just jumping into spectator mode. That way we can get a good look at everything from a bird's eye view. So this is the town hall. We built this as a group several months back. And this is probably one of my favorite builds on the server. We had a ton of members collaborate and build this together. Inside, we have pretty much the central area here with a nice fountain. We have a diamond chandelier. And then we also have in this room kind of a little hangout lobby where you come in. There's a nice fountain, a nice little stage area if anybody wants to perform. We got a bunch of seating and stuff like that. And then we also have a little restaurant area up here. If we go over here to the left, there's some unfinished rooms here. Unfortunately, we did not have a ton of time in order to finish all of these. Seems to be the story with a lot of the other members. I think we more or less bit off more than we could chew. But hey, it's Season 1, and I think all of this is more or less a learning curve. Speaking of learning, I cannot explain how much I have learned this season in not only starting an SMP, but running one, and it turns out that there's a lot more that goes into it than what I originally thought. I'm pretty sure most all of these other rooms are incomplete, and then we have our meeting area here, where all of the members will sit down and meet and discuss stuff. However, shortly after we built this meeting area, Gigi did claim this as her office, so I don't really know if it's a group member area or if it's Gigi's office. I guess that will always be a mystery. Moving on to the center of the shopping district, we have the LA Sanctuary. Now, this was my first real go at doing anything lore related, and I was actually really impressed with how well it came together because this was totally out of the ordinary for me, and I've never really done anything like that before this. If you missed that episode, or it might even be a couple episodes, I'd recommend going back and watching that. It's in the beginning of Season 1. However, this is kind of a magical area which stems from the allays down below, and this was intended to be a shop, and I think I actually had a few people come here and buy some allays. However, I don't think that I ever actually came in here to see how much I actually made from it. There's a lot of little hints and stuff like that that go along with the storyline, and there's even a little book over here that explains what all happened as kind of an Easter egg for you guys. One of the longest standing buildings is Pigco here, which is our community gold farm. This is a quad portal gold farm, so it has 4 different portals, and this provided all of the members with experience points and a ton of gold throughout the duration of Season 1. So we have all of the gold that collects in here, and then we'll pretty much break it down and put it inside of that chest. All of the XP goes into the Trident Killer, and since you're AFKing right next to that Trident Killer, you gather up all of the XP. Now, due to the Trident Killer bugs to where the Tridents are falling through the floor, we do have to take the Tridents out after every time using the Trident Killer, so the Tridents are going to be in this barrel here. If we go down below, we have the heart of the operation. Now, this sorting system, let me go ahead and do away with that ticking noise. Anyways, as I was saying, this sorting system down here, I originally ended up overbuilding this. That way, if we ever wanted to upgrade the gold farm above it, then we wouldn't have to turn around and upgrade the sorting system as well, because the sorting system has no problem handling the extra volume. All of the gold comes down here in pretty much 4 times hopper speed into these chests, and then it branches off into double hopper speed to be sorted out. And then everything else is going to go through here, which at this point everything should be sorted out aside from the golden swords, and then the golden swords can come through here and smelt down in the blast furnace, and then the gold is recirculated back up into this dropper system that takes it up to the storage area. Now, these blast furnaces are fueled by the lava that comes out of this lava farm here. This lava farm was meant to fuel not only the Pigco, but it was also meant to fuel the smeltery also. However, there was a flaw with this, and that is that in order to get this all the way over to the smeltery, which is inside of a unloaded chunk, we had to send these to a staging system, which is down this line, and then it would hold all of the lava buckets inside of the staging system, and then we could request it from that side. That way we weren't sending anything over unloaded chunks. Now, before I go over to the smeltery, I do want to go over here to underneath the town hall. That way we can look at a project that Renee and a few other members have been working on, and that is right over here on the right hand side. And you might have guessed, it is a movie theater. So we have a couple banners here, a ticket booth, we have adequate sitting here passing out tickets, and then if we go through here and turn to the right, we have a snack vending area which is ran by a couple villagers. If we go through here, we have a stairway down, and then this leads over here to a couple bathrooms, and then also the ticket booth. And in order to get down to the theater, you're going to go down these stairs here. And this is all very, very nicely decorated. I love all of the effort that went into this, and you can really see that it was really well thought out. So going down the stairs, we go into this area. And this is more or less a staging area before you get into the theater. We have some more bathrooms down here. And then we have a filming room over here to where I'm filming a scene with Gigi and little tiny Buckee on the green screen, of course. If we turn to the right hand side, you can see that we have a stairway going down, and this is going to take you out into the movie theater where you can turn around, walk up, and find your seats. We have some really creative use of banners here, making the backrest for seats. We have some tables. We have some of the mob heads by Foxynotails, that way you can actually sit inside of the seats. Some really cool banners on the side, making the speakers all the way down. And then we have the large curtain, which is really cool. We should have all gotten together and done a play. That would have been funny. But all in all, I really love how this area turned out. Great job, guys. At the very back of the room, we have a exit here. And then I don't know what goes behind here. There's a door, and I think it's just kind of a backstage area. So not much to see back here. But if we go up here through the exit, this is going to take us all the way around here and up and out of the back of the building, which is where the movie theater exits. Next on the list is the smeltery, and I absolutely love how this building came out. We have the main smeltery building here, and then also the silo, which is responsible for housing all of the fuel for the smeltery, i.e. lava. We also have a really cool little truck here that is responsible for stocking the silo. So we can go ahead and go inside of the smeltery, which I'm sure everybody has seen many times if you have been around the Project Bedrock for a while. We have a cool little lava pit here, and also a big crucible style thing. This thing is on a track where it will move back and forth. That way it can refuel the furnace with lava whenever it needs to. And this is pretty much a automated system. Let me jump out of spectator mode here. and we can turn it on for those of you that have not actually seen this in action. And it looks like I'm going to need to turn my sounds back up. So now that my sounds are back up, you can hear everything working. We basically have a chest here where you input the items. It will then go up this bubble column and be spit out on top of this conveyor belt. And once it's on this conveyor belt, it's going to slowly move into the furnace in order to be smelted. And then it's going to spit out the output side over here. Now there's a little bit of movie magic going on here because, well, you can't really put in items into a smelter and then have them come out smelted. If you could, that would be really cool. But Minecraft just doesn't work that way. So jumping back into spectator mode, we have the magic that happens down here with a bunch of redstone. We have our piston feed tapes going around, and essentially whenever you put items in, they're going to go through this feed tape. They're going to be pulled in by a hopper minecart, which is then going to pull everything down at double hopper speed into a giant smelter down below. And as soon as it's done smelting, it's going to go up this dropper elevator, which will then drop it right into this conveyor belt here, which is pretty cool. Now, because we ended up getting tired of sending the lava back and forth from the other lava farm, I just felt like it would be more efficient to build another lava farm over here. This is my newer design lava farm, and I would highly recommend building this one over the old one. Not that there's anything wrong with my old design, this one is just so much, well, more. This thing has so many furnaces full at one time, and you just get an absolute ton of lava for it. I'm going to be releasing a tutorial on this here soon. I have it recorded, I just have not finished up all of the editing, unfortunately. Now, I think the rest of the shopping district we can probably just explore on foot for now, but this I recently built. This is a stand for the new armor trims that recently came out, and you essentially can come over here and get whatever trim you want and the material in order to duplicate that trim. The only thing that you have to do is use your own diamonds in order to duplicate it, because it does require 7 per trim. So that's a nice little duplication stand for all of the members that wish to go in here and get whatever armor trims they desire. And we cannot forget that heartbeat that we're hearing in the background. That is none other than the giant warden. Now, this guy unfortunately has been pranked more times than I can count with his gold hoop earrings and his pink Speedo that he's wearing. And apparently he's not the only one that was pranked, because, well, I am still, after all these months, holding on for dear life over a giant pile of, well, you know, warden poop. Now, if you can walk around this side without stepping in a place that you should not step, there is a water elevator that will take you up inside of his, is this his left leg? Yeah, I think it's his left leg. Yeah, left leg. So we can go up here, and then there's going to be a second one going up here, and you're going to want to jump out of this real quick to go to the first floor. We have a ton of stuff for sale here, and if you want to jump on the world and play, just feel free to jump in here, pick up wherever we left off, or you can just hijack all of the materials. It is entirely up to you, as it will be your world whenever you download it. Now, I do also have a ton of other material inside of here. Some of this is going to be in need of restocking, like a lot of my shops. However, there is still a ton of decent material inside of here as well. And there's even some empty areas if you choose to knock out the wall to add some more stuff in here if you desire. But we could continue on the tour all the way up here, and then if you continue going up, that will take you up to the warden's shoulders. We have all of this stuff for sale up here. Some of it is sold out. I am going to restock the rockets here and also the elytras. That way, if you guys want to have a pair of wings and some rockets whenever you are going to be flying around, then I'll leave that there for you to do some exploring. I believe we're also going to be leaving some over inside of the spawn area as well, so make sure that you look at any chests over inside of that house before taking off. Now, right behind us is going to be DSP's area and also Winter Wonderland, and we cannot forget the area that I've been working on, which is the mine facility. We're going to be getting to that here shortly, and we're also going to be getting to DSP's area way over there and also the factory. But before we do, there's a few other things that I want to take a look at. So I think what we're going to do is do a zigzag through the shopping district, and then before going to Gigi's base, we're going to bounce over there, and then we'll probably go all the way around following this line, going to each member's base, and then we will probably end over at Gigi's base, or probably my base, which is a little past Gigi's base. Sound like a plan? Let's go. So down here we have the slime shack, which is Moss's Slime and Dime. Moss recently built this, and it's a really cool looking kind of weathered shack, and I just love the look of stuff like this where kind of reminds you of something that you would come across if you were just bushwhacking in the woods and you just came across some kind of old dilapidated shack. He's got some dead bushes and roadkill for free. He also has a bunch of slime blocks in here. Looks like he's selling glow ink now. I don't think that he was selling glow ink last time that I was inside of his shop. And Buckee's head. Okay, that's strange. We'll just leave that there. And punch the llama, and then we can go this way. This is a really cool build that Merely Adequate, I believe, ended up building when he got onto the server. And Merely Adequate's one of the members that joined us very late in the season, so he didn't really have a whole lot of time to build a ton of stuff. But I can tell you, coming on the server and building something like this, he really blew it out of the park. This is just such a fun and cool idea, and I absolutely love it. And he was selling a bunch of holiday related stuff in here, which I was supposed to buy, and I just now remembered that I never got around to it. Oops, sorry Adequate. So as soon as you walk in here, we're going to be bouncing on the bounce house. Whoa. And can I fly? Let's take two. I want to bounce. Okay, what about now? Bounce. Yes, there we go. Don't know why it's not letting me fly. Maybe I should just hold forwards. Okay, I finally made it. Totally the bounce house's fault. It was not operator error at all. So up here we have some of the stuff that he was selling, and this is the Christmas boxes, which as of making this video was the last holiday that we had. And he did these in such a way that the shulker boxes are pressed up against something. That way you just can't open these and look what it is. That way you get kind of a surprise in there. I'm assuming all of these boxes are probably going to be different. Overall, a really cool idea. And probably my favorite part of this whole thing is the water slide. Whee! Come on, Built, stay professional. So now moving on, we have Puggy's little shop here, which he was selling kind of a few different things. I think he was selling ice and also some skulk. So we got skulk there and skulk vein here. The skulk never really took off much this season. I tried selling the skulk as well. However, there wasn't really many people that bought it. Now that we have a lot more members going into season 2, I think things like that are going to be selling a lot better. But as you can see, there was some calcite that was for sale, some ice. And I was recommending to him that he should sell some regular ice too, because I started using that instead of carrying around water buckets, and it seems to work a lot better in my opinion. So going over here, we have the Tree of Life, which is going to be our main marketplace portal. And this was another kind of community build that everybody kind of chipped in and helped build. We have Puggy over here on a tire swing. We have a bird in a box over there, which was a cool touch. We have Gigi around here swinging on the side, and a giant creeper hiss from my thing that I built. And I just absolutely love this tree. It looks like a giant weeping willow, and I think for being one of the first trees that I helped build, and I think for a group tree build, it came out really, really well. I also have a swing back here that I put here. Now I have been in many different positions over the season on this swing. It seems like people just can't walk by me without like repositioning me, making me lay down, making me face backwards. I originally was looking out at the ocean, but I guess other people had other things in mind. I guess it's time to sleep before we carry on. One benefit of having bed umbrellas is you can sleep whenever you want to. Now this area here was inspired by my hometown, which a lot of you guys probably already know. I live in Florida, and Florida is a beach town, one of the most famous in the world. Over here we have a bunch of white sandy beaches where people come from miles and miles around to come over and hang out at the beach. One of the things that I wanted to bring back from my memories at the beach was the ice cream truck, and this is actually one of the local ice cream trucks, which is actually called the Ice Queen truck. And that is one that is local to my area. You can see we have a bunch of signage showing all of the different things that the ice cream truck is selling. And then we also have a couple signs over here that says, why not grab an ice cream? Just doing some advertisement. So if we come down through the boardwalk here, you can see that we have umbrellas on each side. We have towels, and then we have a little fishing shack here. This fishing shack is kind of a small area where boats will come just to grab some breakfast or lunch. And inside is a small shop to where you can buy all of your ocean related stuff, like your shells, beach sand, fishing poles, prismarine blocks, and stuff like that. If we turn around, we can go out the side here, and we have some storage and then also a fish tank here. I'm actually amazed that my fish are still alive in here. And then if we go around to the back side, this will actually take you out to the dock area where we have a pretty cool sea boat. And then we also have a small flats boat here that is docked next to a floating dock and a little raft as well. Leaving the shack and back onto the boardwalk, we can head this way and we have a bunch of trash cans and some people that don't know how to use trash cans, which unfortunately whenever you live at the beach is a bad issue because people just can't seem to pick up their trash and throw it inside of the trash can that's right next to them. You should always clean up after yourself and leave the area better than you found it. Continuing on down through the boardwalk, we have some more umbrellas, some people that's just bathing out enjoying the sun. We have myself out there on a pool floaty with Gigi over here floating inside of the water, which is a really cool touch. These avatars really do add a ton of life to the area. If you come over here, be sure not to trip on DJ, as he's got himself in quite the pickle. Heading up this way, we could continue up the path, which is going to take us to the spawn area. This is where you're going to spawn inside of the world, and inside of here, there is a ton of stuff inside of this chest. I do believe this was one of the first things that was actually built over here, and if I remember right, it was Gigi that built this, and it's just a small, kind of cozy cottage. That way, when this land was all pre-developed and not lit up, we would not die whenever we actually spawn back inside of the world. Speaking of dying, we have a graveyard over here. This graveyard is where everybody would come and add their bad experience. I don't know who added this, but that's really cool looking. Okay, let's read the sign. RIP, shared many kisses with they are. Oh, never mind, I'm not reading it right. Rest in peace, Dark Knight Fury. Shared many passionate kisses with the ground. They are married now. That is super creative. I love the way that you did that. I would have never thought of that. That's super cool. We also over here have Renee. Most nether deaths, waste of a good totem, where she was buried here. Rest in peace, Moss, boating accident. That doesn't sound good. Now, most of these are related to a death that happened on an episode, so you might have to go back and actually watch some of the other members to see what episodes related to what death. Over here we have Gigi, which is an angel that tried to fly without her wings, lol, and that resulted in her death. I think we've all been there, Gigi. And then we have xrsbuilt over here, which is myself obviously. Rest in peace. Died on a horrible piglin expedition. I remember this one like it was yesterday. Moving all of the piglins for my piglin bartering farm. It definitely did not go the way that it was supposed to, and yeah, I died many times. I should realistically fill up this entire graveyard, but since we need room for the other members, I just have one slot. Over here to the side, we have DSP, a leap of faith, faith lost. Yeah, I think we've all been there. That's definitely not the best way to go about dying, that's for sure. So if we continue on our tour, we have a cool little tree. I believe Gigi built this. And a picnic area underneath here. Community chest, donate your resources here for use in the community builds. Anything is accepted. I think a lot of this stuff is left over from when we were working on other builds throughout the season. So the entire world's kind of scattered with chests and shulker boxes and stuff like that. Now, if we go over here, we have the vending machine, which is made by Gigi. Now, normally this map would say Project Bedrock, but I do not have the pack on currently. And you essentially just order whatever you want through the book. And then you deposit a token inside of the barrel, which you buy inside of her shop. And then it will dispense whatever you buy inside of the barrel. This was a really cool redstone project that Gigi had me do for. And there is not only this machine, but there is one over there yonder as well, which we will pass here shortly. It looks like I'm going to need to sleep again because it's always night on this server. The post office. This is a build that I believe Gigi put together as well, and it really confused me because I went to walk through here and this was when the powdered snow came out, and I never really even thought about using the powdered snow as walls, but apparently she did, and I accidentally flew through it and I think I poked a hole in it. I can't remember, but yeah, anyways, powdered snow walls. And a really cool build nonetheless. And I think I still have... Hey look, my prize for finding moss. I get a bottle. Thanks, Gigi. No, all seriousness, I'm pretty sure that was just marking a diamond block if I remember right. I just left the bottle because apparently I do not practice what I preach and I don't clean up after myself. Well, it's my postal box. Give me a break, okay? Next, we have Renee's Tree Shop, which is Thick Sticks Lumber Supply, and she was pretty much the main person that supplied all of the wood throughout the entire season. Even after I built my tree farm, I would still come over here and give her all of my diamonds. Like so, all of these diamonds are mine, because, well, I go through a ton of material. And yeah, pretty cool shop, and very, very convenient just to come over here and buy whatever wood you need whenever you need it. Over here we have a couple small shops here. These were, I believe, jointly done by Buckee and also DarkJ. We have the Deep Rock Ocean shop, which has a bunch of random things for sale. We have deep slate, shulker deals, copper, tough blocks, tridents, and stuff of that nature. And then we have the Concata shop here, which sells concrete, and it also sells terracotta, which was a very handy shop. I started building with concrete and terracotta a little later inside of the season, and let me tell you, I'm glad that I did because I really like using concrete. I just wish that I had more variants like stairs and slabs. Now over here we have this little pop-up shop that Gigi has made, and this was a really cool idea because you can come over here and pretty much buy emeralds, and then you take those emeralds and just trade with the villagers to get all of the golden carrots that you need, which was a really cool idea. I believe somebody came over here and dropped a bunch of emeralds down, and this was originally free, and I think Gigi ended up putting the sign here where it's 15 diamonds a stack. That way they would buy her emeralds instead of getting the emeralds that were free. This has always left me confused because I didn't actually see the shulker box being free. I only saw it whenever it was 15 diamonds a stack, so I was always curious as to who would put that there and why. Walking up here, we have Gigi's bookstore to the left-hand side, and we also have her hardware store to the left-hand side. And these two shops, I absolutely love her build style. She is super, super creative in all of the different builds that she does, and always has a good way of just taking all the materials that she chooses, putting them together, and just making a phenomenal build. These look phenomenal, Gigi. Moving on over here, we have a bunch of the members standing out here. And this was our mob head shop, to where you can come in here and stand under here and it would kill you, and then you would just grab your head from there. And then later on inside of the season, I ended up making an AFK one, to where this actually sensed whenever you respawned and it would push you down and you would die of fall damage. Then all of your heads would come up inside of the bubble vader. As you can see, I died here quite a few times. On the left hand side, we have the vending machine here. This is the second one that I was talking about, and this one just sells different items than the other one. However, it was a really cool concept and design and worked very well. I believe a ton of the members actually used these and were very happy with them. Directly behind it is this orange and white tent. This is one that I recently did this past Halloween, and it was more of a prank for the members. So whenever you went in here, you were to make sure that you were recording and that your note block volume was set at 100%, and whenever you walk through here, brace yourselves, you get a nice jump scare. And the beautiful thing about this is it's fully resettable, so whenever you get off that, it puts them right back into place, and you are good to go for another jump scare. So it's just one giant big loop of fun. That way our prank doesn't just end with one person, we can get all of them. Now, directly across from here, we have DJ's shop here, where he sells a bunch of the amethyst blocks, some tinted glass, which is always a hot commodity. I was super excited whenever the tinted glass came to Minecraft. It was for the first time that you could really display a mob farm without having to worry about a ton of light getting inside of it. Directly across from that, we have the redstone shop, which I'm sure that you guys are all familiar with. We can open up the door, and we have all of the different components that are for sale, or at least should be. Most of these are out of stock, and I do apologize for that. I'm probably not going to get around to restocking these, but there is still some good redstone supplies in here if you need any of it. Now, these rails were originally meant to go over inside of the mining store, and I was planning on reconfiguring this to where it would look nicer, and also adding some of the new redstone blocks. Again, I just did not have enough time to get all of this done. This inside of the floor was also meant to be an elytra launcher, to where you could go down, get on a minecart, and then it would take you over behind the shop to where then it would go into a TNT cannon and shoot you very high up into the air. I ended up not doing that design because I did not want the minecarts to be all over the shopping district. And unfortunately, you do have to use the minecarts in order to shoot yourself very high. And I think the only two that I did not cover was these two here. This one on the left is going to be Incarceron's build, which is a cool little old style wagon, which came out really awesome. And he has a bunch of miscellaneous stuff for sale in here. He was selling rockets and competing with me. And then he has a bunch of other random things for sale. He's out of stock of rockets because I bought all of his rockets and then put them for sale inside of my shop, because friendly competition. And then some other miscellaneous stuff like cobblestone, a bunch of other blocks, and overall a bunch of handy stuff to sell. Moving on next door, we have Gigi's wool shop over here, and I'll try to pronounce this correctly. It is Baba Block Sheep Wool Shop. And like a typical Gigi build, this is a absolutely phenomenal looking build. And if we walk inside, you can see we have banners showing every color of the wool that is inside. And this is actually a 3-story building going all the way up to the top floor. I don't know how she can make something so tall and narrow and make it look so good. Mine would not look anywhere close to this good. Well, I think that wraps up the shopping district. Let's head on over towards the Winter Wonderland and take a look at that. Heading over here next to the Winter Wonderland, we have this really cool winding path that heads all the way over here towards the mountain. Now, this little mountain is where Gigi wanted us to come and build something that was kind of commemorative to the season and meant a lot for all of the members. So Gigi ended up building the Project Bedrock sign. She ended up building part of the build for her iron farm. Over there to the right hand side, Dark Knight also ended up building the tower that is very similar to her castle. We'll go and look at that here shortly. And then I'm not quite sure who built the axe there, but that's a pretty cool thing to build as well. And I'm going to be adding onto this at the end of the episode, so make sure that you watch until the end of the episode, that way you don't miss that. And then over here we have kind of a small community area where everybody's gathering around, looking through the telescopes and whatnot. Just some really cool attention to detail. And then if we come over here, you can see some of the humor that runs amok over here on the Project Bedrock server as well. Like myself inside of here, and I guess somebody left the door open? Out of order. Oh, maybe it was supposed to be out of order. Maybe I put it out of order? I don't know. But it looks like Dark really has to go, and there's somebody in there too, so he's knocking, wanting to go inside of there. Any which way, I think that about wraps this area up. Let's head on up to Winter Wonderland and take a look at everything up there. This was an area that I wish that I was able to participate more in. This was a big group area throughout not just this last Christmas, but also the Christmas beforehand when this was originally started. A lot of this was group builds that was done together. Unfortunately, I did not participate in a lot of these, and I really wish that I did, because there's a lot of this that I don't really know much of anything about, unfortunately. Again, going back to the whole time thing, I really wish that I had more time in order to do stuff like this. Unfortunately, it led to me having to prioritize and work on my own stuff on the solo instead of working on stuff like this as a group. Hopefully there's going to be much more group stuff that's going to be happening in Season 2. Walking through here, I'm not quite sure what this is here. This is actually honestly my first time seeing it, but it is a really cool looking build. We have a guy back here, and his name is Jeeves. This is Jeeves. Everybody say hi to Jeeves. I'm not quite sure what Jeeves does, but it looks like he's doing it very well. You should go and go in the closet before just changing in front of people, Jeeves. If anybody knows what this is, let me know, because I would love to know. We have a cool little refrigerator there, and a cauldron, and looks like some tools. Do we have anything in the barrel? Pumpkin pies. Oh, okay. Pumpkin spice latte. Yuck. I don't like pumpkins. I love pumpkins. I just don't like anything artificial pumpkin. With that being said, that was probably Renee that built this, because I remember the Christmas before last, she kept on bringing me the pumpkin spice lattes, knowing that I hate them. So moving on over here, we have a bunch of stables, and I haven't really been over here much to look at these either. We have a mushroom, and apparently they're all named. What's your name? Newton Scotch Brite. Okay, that's Newton Scotch Brite. I'll do my best to pronounce all of these names, if I can. Jake Scottsdale. I don't know if any of these have any references or not. Miranda Hernandez. We have... Oh, are these not named? He's not named. Oh, you're named. Tigger. I know who Tigger is. Nope. Stay in there, Tigger. Cappuccino. Man, that is a perfect name for that horse. You definitely look like a cappuccino. What's your name back there? What's your name? Nope. Come here. Come in. Your name is Spot. Hey, come here. Come here, Spot. See Spot, run. Go run. Just kidding. Don't run. I don't want you to get out. I don't want to lose you. Why is that horse not named? That's super sad. That horse is forever going to be remembered as the horse on season 1 that was not named. So let's move on. We have Merely Adequate here looking into, what's this? Oh, it's a bunny cage. They're all like stuffed in the corner. That's super cool. I've never seen anybody make a cage like that. I like that. That's really neat. And then we have Merely Adequate looking into it. And then we have, oh, we got some turtles. Elizabeth Anderson. What's your name? 2-ton Timmy. Holy cow, that's a big turtle. 2 tons? It's like a 4,000 pound turtle, man. And we have Yonks. What's up, Yonks? I like your name. That's a pretty cool name. What's your name? Sassy. Okay, we have Sassy. And what's your name? I probably shouldn't be in here with you. Renee. I wonder if there's a underlying story with that one. I don't ask any questions. You guys stay in there. Is there anything in here? Oh, we must have some stuff to feed the animals. I don't know if I want to go in here. Hank? I'm gonna settle down. Whoa! Settle down, guys. Jane. Oh, not guys. Guys and girl. Girls and guys. Sorry. Dude, Hank and Jane, settle down. You guys are off the wall, literally. We have Wilma and Fred. These guys must be from the Flintstones. I like their names. That's really, really creative. I like it. And we have Edith and Archie. A couple cows here. I absolutely love this. It's kind of like a cool little petting zoo. And again, just an overall phenomenal build. Claire Frazier, are you part of the petting zoo? You should be over there. You're probably cold out here. Over here we have the boat race, and we'll probably end up doing this on the minigame race. I think it was Merely Adequate that came over and did some finishing touches on this, and we can run it real fast. I ended up doing the redstone on this about a year or so ago, and I used the comparators in order to run more or less a CAN bus system over through here, and we were able to achieve these lights all lighting up the way that we wanted to by just running one line, which is more or less the way that a bus system works. Except with a bus system, it would typically have voltages, frequency, stuff like that that changes. On this, we're just using signal strength. So for now, I'm just going to throw all of my junk here and pick up these boats so I can put them back, and then we'll run this course really fast and take a look at it. And what you do is you hit this button and you will see those lights will light up. 1, 2, and then 3. And then on the third one, it's going to launch them exactly, and then they'll all 3 light up again, which is all done, like I said, through that single line, which is really, really cool. So we can throw that down there, hit that button, and jump in the boat, and get ready. 2, 3, and here we go. And this was created by quite a few members. I know Renee did I'm off the ice. Renee did a ton of work on this, and I believe Adequate come in here and finish it up. I think Gigi did some work on it, and I think a few of the other members. I do apologize if I forget to mention anybody. Whoa, this is pretty quick. Navigate through here. This is really tight quarters. Then we go down here, and then we turn around. I don't think it matters which way we go. We can go down through here. Whoa. We got a bunch of stuff that pops up through the floor. And we got a fireplace. Again, we got some more stuff that pops up through the floor. And this is a really cool bubble column system. And then we have, I think, the finish line here. So just a nice little short race. It says ho 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 at the end for Santa Claus, obviously. Not to state the obvious. And random slime ball. Okay. We have over here down, and then we have up here. please return your boat to the starting line. So let me come up here. And we need to make sure there's no creepers. Everything should be spawn proofed, but you know how that goes. We'll put that one there. Pick block it. That one there. That one there. And that one there. Perfect. Over here we have a bunch of the members just sprawling out doing some snow angels. And we have a bunch of cool little animals here, which were built by all of the other members. Again, I don't know who built what. I do apologize for that. If there's a bell, I have to walk up and ring it. Sorry. And then we have Santa's sleigh over here, loaded full of a ton of presents with a bunch of reindeer, which are absolutely adorable. I believe Gigi built this. Any which way, whoever built it, it does look phenomenal and a really, really cool idea. It's probably not as good looking as it should be because I don't have my glass pack on, but it still looks pretty cool with the default Minecraft glass. Now over here to the right hand side, we have a manger scene. Whoa, you're not part of the manger scene. Get out of here. Like I said, everything should, emphasis on the should, be spawn proofed. As I was saying, we have some of the members looking down at baby Jesus, and I really like the backdrop there to where they use Skulk in order to look like a starry night. That was a really, really cool touch. And I just really love the way that this build came out. Moving on, we have an arch over here with some ice trees and some skeletons on top. And looks like we have some skeletons on the bottom as well. Okay guys, this place is not spawn proofed at all. Moving on, we have some ice trees here with a nice cool looking arch. And then we have a nice little village type of thing. This over here I think is supposed to be a gingerbread house, which looks very, very good. I believe Dark Knight did that. And I'm being shot by another skeleton. You get off of that giant ice tree. Thank you. And if I was ever going to say that there was a house that looked exactly like a gingerbread house, that would be it. That looks really, really cool, and I really like that. And I'm wanting to say she probably built this one as well. Again, if I'm getting any of this wrong, I do apologize, guys. Feel free to correct me inside the comments below. And we have some presents in here. And like a Christmas tree, a creeper, and a bunch more stuff. I really like this. Nice and cozy. Moving on from the Winter Wonderland, we're now going to be looking at the mine shop. Now, I've been working on this for the past month or so, and it's come out really, really well. This was originally meant to be another shop. However, due to it being the end of the season, I don't think that I'm going to get many customers because, well, I'm pretty sure I'm the last one that's going to be on the server. There's a few things that I'm going to be throwing into the last time lapse of this episode, because I do still want to add a loader down below here underneath this shed. And I do want to do a few more finishing touches to the building here. However, as you can see, this is a huge mining facility. We have an excavator over here. We have a giant rock truck here. And this being my first time building a rock truck and an excavator, I think that these came out really, really good. We have a shed here. Again, this is going to be overhanging a loader. And then we have a crane here to load all of the materials into the rock truck. The crane is going to pull the materials from this conveyor belt that is lifting it up out of the ground here. And you can see all of the precious resources that are constantly coming up through here. Now, I was going to go back and fill all of these resources all the way down to the belt, but I don't know if I'm going to have the time or the resources in order to do this. But essentially, we'll pull all these out of the ground, and then the crane will load them into the rock truck and take them where they need to go. We also have a dozer over here in order to push all of the dirt out and clear out the mine site, equipped with a ripper on the back as well. And before we go any further, I suppose I can show you what is at the bottom of the hole here. So if we go all the way down, we have a present that was left from Gigi and MossLogic. And you might be able to hear the noise that he's making. But yeah, he's not very friendly. And once I show you the underground area, he can reach you there. So if you're ever wandering around inside of that area down below, be very careful because he will blast you through the wall. Don't ask me how I know. But moving on from the warden, if we come around through here, this whole conveyor is ran by a gearbox and powered by a huge diesel inside of here. And again, there's still more to be done in here. Again, running out of time. I've probably said that 15 times now. But yeah, this was originally going to be a self-feeding cobblestone and stone shop where you can go here and help yourself. You could either buy the cobblestone and stone by itself, or buy any of the other ores that would be for sale here. And the idea was you could come up here and buy the stuff directly out of the chest, or you could take a shulker box and put it inside of the shulker box loader and have it load this full, and then get your shulker box as soon as it was done filling up. Hopefully I'll get this area done, that way you guys can enjoy it for the world download. Anyways, to go down below, we have 2 bubble columns here. Well, one's a bubble column, the other one's a water blade. So if you jump down this hole and go all the way down, we have a water blade at the very bottom that's going to break your fall in survival. And then this goes down into this mine area. This mine area has all of these chests to where all of this will fill up with either stone or cobblestone. And we can jump out of spectator mode, which is probably a horrible idea since we have a warden next door. This is pretty much where all of the cobblestone is going to be stored. And then on this side, we have all of the drops that come out of our skeleton farms, where we have our bones go there, bones there, and hopefully I don't get blasted. And pretty much all of the bones are going to be sorted out here. And then we have a basalt generator here, to where we can mine all of the basalt, and then we can pick it up here or pull it out of the shulker box down below. This is not good. This is not good. Not good. Okay, hopefully I'm far enough away. And then over here we have our cobblestone generator or stone generator, and you can just sit here and okay, I think he's mad at something else. And just sit here and mine all of the stone or cobblestone, depending if you're using silk touch or not. And then also it will have the XP go here and heal you while you're mining, and you'll also get a ton of bones and stuff out of here as well whenever this trident killer is running. And now that I turned it on, you can see that all of them are getting chopped up, and all of the XP is going to make its way over there to the mining location. And like I said, if you get close enough to this guy, I think he can beam you. Although I don't know how close you have to be. Hey warden, can you see me over here? Oh, he can get you. He can get you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, don't do what I just did. It is confirmed he can actually reach you. I hope I can actually get back through the door. Let's go. Fast, fast, fast. Fast, fast, fast. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Okay, I think I made it. It's a bit risky down there. Go at your own risk. Moving on from the mining facility, we have DSP's area here. Well, this is an area where he was starting to branch into. However, his main area is way over there. We're going to be going over there here shortly. But he ended up building this, and he built this mid-season. I'm not quite sure what it was meant to be, but whatever it was meant to be, he really blew it out of the park. I really love the build style for this. I'm not quite sure what the build style is, but the building itself looks very difficult to build in Minecraft, along with all of these custom trees, and they just look very, very good. If we go inside, it has a rather colorful flooring, and some even more unique and cool looking interior as well. Is there anything on the inside here? No. Just some panels. And DSP is a very, very talented builder. Now, I do believe that this was still under construction, so it was not completely finished. But unfortunately, DSP got busy midway through season and was unable to finish it. Over here towards the back, it looks like he was starting to build around this lake area as well. This is my first time seeing this build here. And that is a very unique looking building, but I really like this as well. Looks like he was still doing some planning out, so it's probably not complete, but it was definitely a cool looking building nonetheless. DSP is one of those players where you can give him a dirt hut and he could make it look phenomenal. So with that being said, let's move over to his base area. But first we'll take the path, which was the way that he meant for people to actually walk to get there. So we have a bridge over here. And this bridge was one that he built coming from the shopping district down this path here. And then we have a larger bridge here going across this big ravine. And then this follows into more path. And throughout this path, pretty much everything is customized, where he drilled a hole through the mountain here, continuing through to get to the rest of the path, which brings you into his base location. Inside of his base, he has many, many cool looking builds. And as you can see, he's built quite a bit over here. Now, I'm not very familiar with this area. I've been around, but I don't remember most of these. So I don't really remember if each one of these has their own dedicated function or not, or if they're just freestanding builds. Any which way, I can tell you that this entire mountain here was custom built by him. That is entirely hollow, and it has a golden kitten on top, I believe. I remember him explaining it to me, but I have since forgotten. But overall, a super cool looking area where he's just done a ton of building, and I believe most of it's like a Japanese inspired area, but I'm not 100% sure on that, do not quote me. We have a couple cherry trees down here, and I remember this area because he requested that I come over here and build a super smelter for him. So I ended up making a custom super smelter that fit inside of this area for him. That way he did not have to go all the way back to the shopping district. And it looks like he was starting to build another really cool looking build here. I'm always impressed by people that can take totally different textures and totally different colors and throw them together and make it look phenomenal, which is exactly what he's done here as well. But yeah, a really cool looking base nonetheless. And we can jump into here. I believe he had a mob farm or something inside of here. Or a tree farm? Is it a tree farm? There's a lot of trees. Looks like a manual tree farm. We got a dripstone farm. We got a cocoa bean farm. Vine farm. Netherwart farm. Yeah, just a bunch of different farms all around here. And do we have anything over here? And was there anything up here? I remember him saying that there was a mob farm somewhere. Okay, here's the mob farm. So yeah, pretty cool little area, and then we can go inside of here, and man, that is a lot of gold blocks. I mean, a lot of gold blocks. Look at all the gold. That is an absolute ton. That's really cool looking though. So I will tell you guys, first and foremost, I'm not going to be able to go over these and show you everything. I do highly recommend you guys go and check out their channels. That way you can actually look at the build process and look at all of these different builds individually, because they really blew these out of the park. And I'm pretty sure most of the members are going to be doing a showcase video on their own base. So be sure to go subscribe to them and check those out. This is another really cool build by DSP that I've never seen before. Again, taking what I'm thinking is birch strip logs and also some mangrove trapdoors. Two totally different things that I would never dare to use in a build. And it just looks phenomenal. Moving on from DSP's base over here to Moss's base. Moss went for a more organic style base with a bunch of the different nether materials and ended up building a giant flower as well. And this is a really cool idea, again, that you don't really see many Minecrafters attempting. And I think that this was super cool. I remember him telling me that there was a process that he used to end up making this flower in Minecraft, and it was really cool. I would recommend checking out MossLogic's channel. However, most of this is going to be down below ground. He has this up here, and also this, which is leading out to his nether portal, which is a cool little bridge. But most of his stuff is going to be down below, where he has a ton of farms. And then he also has his storage room as well. This is a slime farm over here. And then he also has a ton of other stuff going on down here. Really cool looking build style. I love the use of all of the wood inside of here, and I like the mix of the polished basalt and the granite on the floor. If we go down further, I believe he has his storage room somewhere over... well, I found some villagers. I have not found the storage room yet. I also found a giant area that he was mining out. Aha, I have found his storage room. So this is where I would mainly find Moss at. I wasn't too familiar with most of his base because it's buried underground, but this was the inside of his storage room. And I don't even think that we're at the main part. I think we need to go down one more level. And now this would be his storage room. So if we go in here, pretty much just a manual access storage system. I don't think that there's really anything automated here, but still really cool nonetheless. And for some people that works out even better than having an automated system. It's just really all personal preference. But yeah, that's going to conclude MossLogic's base. So let's go ahead and move on. By the way, all of the links for all of the members are going to be down inside the description below. So if you want to check out any of these that you see, again, be sure to head on over to their channel and subscribe. Leaving MossLogic's base, we are now heading on over to Renee's. Now, Renee's somebody that you might not be as familiar with because she has not made any content this season, as she's not really a content creator. She was brought on board to help run everything behind the scenes on the project Bedrock, and it just really turns out that she loves Minecraft as well. Now for season 2, she does have plans on making content, so be sure to head over to her channel and get her subscribed. That way she has all of the support from our community. Renee is the owner of the Thick Sticks lumber supply over there in the marketplace, and this is where all of the material comes from. Instead of using the fancy tree farm, she prefers to harvest all of these manually, and most of the time you can find her over here cutting down the trees because she absolutely loves to grind. However, I will tell you from what she's told me, it doesn't seem that trees are going to be in her plan for season 2. So most of her base is up top here. She does have a few storage rooms and whatnot down below. And then she also has some farms over here on the left hand side, such as a wheat farm and also a clay drying area and also a concrete / mud farm here, which will go into a cube maker. Now generally I will borrow this whenever I'm building something, such as over there at the factory I needed a bunch of concrete, so I've been over here using hers instead of flying all the way out to my industrial district to use mine, because this one is very close and convenient. Much appreciated for letting me use it. If we go over here to the right hand side, you can see the treehouse that she made, and this is one of the things that she wanted us to add to as well. She wanted everybody to extend a branch and build on it. That way there's something to remember you by on the treehouse to commemorate season 1. And down below she just has a small little storage room and then some stairs leading down below to the mines. She really loves to grind, so she's constantly digging stuff out and cutting trees down. Like I said, there's really not a ton down below. Most of the stuff is up here on the surface where she spends most of her time. Next we are moving on to the mini game district, and we all put a absolute ton of time into building all of these mini games here. That way we could all enjoy these at the end of the season, which if you haven't noticed is the here and now, so we are going to be doing a mini game stream. I don't know if it's going to take place before or after this video releases, so make sure that you are looking at the channel. Click on that live stream tab because I will be live streaming it. That way we can all get together and do some mini games before the launch of season 2. Just to recap here, we have a, and I quote, small mini game here, which is Capture the Flag. This was made by Dark Knight Fury. And this entire area is completely filled to the brim with interior and a bunch of different obstacles and alternate routes. That way you can use strategy and also use your PvP combat skills to bring you and your team to victory. The amount of grind that Dark Knight Fury has put into this alone is astounding and probably matches my effort for everything in season 1. So with that being said, you definitely don't want to miss whenever we start playing this for the first time. I mean, look at this. It's like a mansion inside of here. Moving on from Capture the Flag, we have Splat here, which you guys might have seen before, which Builtina built in the very early episodes of Project Bedrock Season 1. And the goal of that is to jump out of there, collect as many points as possible, and capture your Elytra before falling, hitting the ground, and going splat. It's a simple concept, but it is a ton of fun, and we all really enjoyed playing it. We're going to be playing this one whenever we do our minigame day. Over down here we have a parkour, and this parkour, apparently I'm not very good at making parkour mini games because everybody that played this one said that it is way too hard and next to impossible to do. So you basically jump across and then come all the way through here, jump on top of that fence, over to there, around there, up and around, and then you jump to those fence posts and up here. This would be a really cool challenge, and it is very difficult. However, I promise it is possible because I have done it after about 15 million tries. But if you can do this on the world download, let me know. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Now, this was originally meant to have a lot more to it. However, because of the whole time thing that I've mentioned a dozen times, it was just another started but unfinished project. Most of our time went into this mini game over here, which is King of the Hill. And this ended up being a huge, not only build, but also a huge redstone build as well. And this game is a very intelligent game. You basically go in here and pick your team, put all of your stuff in there, and then you go to your corresponding room. And that corresponding room will give you all the tools and armor required to play the game. Each person is going to start inside of their own dedicated room for their team, which this, for example, is the black room. And you're going to grab all of your stuff out of these barrels. Once the game starts, that door will open and the hill is going to be randomized. So only one room will be turned on at a time, and you will not be able to accumulate points for your team unless the lamp above you is turned on, meaning that the room is active. This is one of 4 different rooms. So we have the red nether wood room, which is, I think, crimson. And then we have the cherry room, which if we go in here, this is the cherry room here. And then if we go down over here, we have the warp room, which is in here. And then we also have the bamboo room, which is over here as well. If we go back to the main lobby inside of the center here, there is the game where you need to make adjustments before you start playing. I'll go over that in a minute. And then up here, it was meant to be a token system to where you can put a token in here and then drop TNT and then have TNT blow up the players down below. However, for whatever reason, the TNT only inflicts like a half a heart, if that. So the TNT was more or less a failed concept, unfortunately. However, I did mention that this was a lot of redstone. Did I mention that this was a lot of redstone? I mean, there's redstone that goes for miles and miles. But like I said, it's all a very intelligent system, and it actually works very, very well. So yeah, be sure to come on over here and give King of the Hill a play. That way you have as much fun with it as we did. Moving on, we have MossLogic's game here, where you jump out of the top and you jump all the way down doing parkour. And it's a lot more complicated than what it looks and very difficult to do. But the object is to make it all the way to the bottom to the finish line without going splat and dying. Now with this one single game, there is a bunch of different courses. And it also looks like he added some other courses over here as well, which might be a continuation of the other one. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, this is going to be on the roster of those games that we're going to be playing on the minigame stream, so don't miss it. We also have a few other games over here, such as horse and pig racing, and we also have a maze that GG put together, which is very, very difficult. I've tried to make my way through this, and I always seem to go about 5 feet from the entrance, and that's it. So I'm never really able to find my way all the way around. But who knows, my hopes are high that hopefully I'll be able to be victorious on the minigame day. Moving on from the minigame district, if you are a OG of the Project Bedrock server, you might remember this base over here. This base is from a member that is no longer with us. His name was cMonstera, but he ended up putting a ton of effort into this and really did a really good job of building, and I absolutely love the windmill that he put together over here as well. If we go down here, most of his base was more or less a cave base. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us on the server. He ended up going his own way, but he did leave his mark on the server, and it all came out phenomenal. This base, if you do come across it, I just figured that I would tell you whose it was. That way, if you didn't originally watch any of cMonstera on the Project Bedrock server, you would know whose base you found. This base does go back in here a little ways, and if you are an OG and you remember, this was actually the target of mine and GG's gas prank early on in early season 1. Now we're going to move on to Buckee's base and also DarkJ's base. We have Buckee's base in front of me, and apparently he fell from the sky, and all of his gear's right here if anybody wants any gear whenever you log onto the server to check out his base. If we go in here, there's not a ton to see as he didn't participate a ton in season 1. However, he had a lot of really good plans and a lot of potential, but again, it ended up being a time thing. I think down here he had his storage area where he had a bunch of chests and whatnot, and then all of this stuff was like future planning, and then there was a staircase that went up here to his nether portal room and had a few other little farms inside of here as well. And then he had, I think, some type of farm on the roof, like an ice farm up there. And then he also had the farm over there next to where the old shopping district used to be. And then he had a drowned farm over there next to where the old shopping district used to be. Going down directly below from Buckee's base, you will find DarkJ's base. And DarkJ, again, he had a lot of plans inside of here, and he just ran out of the time doing it. Unfortunately with DarkJ, he was always a mobile phone player, so I think that makes it a lot harder for him to do the same amount of work as it would for one of us being on PC or one of us being on console. But he gave it his best go, but unfortunately ran out of time for season 1. Who knows, maybe in the future he'll be able to put these plans to use. He showed me some of the concepts for what he was planning, and it was really cool. Hopefully one day he makes it happen. Next over here we have Puggy's base. Now Puggy was one of the members that joined a little later in season 1, but he still put in a ton of effort here, and really made a cool base, especially working inside of a snowy environment like this. I really love how he used a natural mountain here and turned it into a nether portal, and then he has kind of an ice path coming down around, working his way all the way down to his base area. So he has a small little house area that is flooded by a laze, which I think was a prank. I haven't quite seen this. Holy cow, there's a lot of allays in here. Anyways, this is his house inside of here. It's a nice cozy little house. And then he also has the upstairs here as well. And then if we go through this wall and turn to the left, I believe his storage room is inside of here. Yes, so his storage room is here, and as you can see, it is very, very well organized. I think a lot of the problems with the later members that ended up joining is they knew that the season 1 end was near, and that really puts a damper on the motivation with how much you really want to invest building, because the season's going to be ending shortly anyways. Moving on from Puggy's base, we have Dark Knight's base here, and Dark Knight was one of those members that just came on the server and started swinging. She put together a castle in less than a 2-week period and completely blew this all out of the park. Such a huge, amazing looking build with a sword going down through the center, nether portals inside of the sword. Just a really cool, detailed, amazing looking castle at the top of this hill. But yet with the castle, she was not done there, because then she went down into this valley and started doing some steampunk, I believe is what it's called, builds down here, which as she stated was the first time that she attempted doing stuff like this. And she said it took a little bit of time to figure out, but she ended up blowing it out of the park in my opinion. Some super, super cool builds down here with a bunch of gears, a bunch of pipes, and everything else. And it's just very, very creative. Now, as far as this goes, I don't know if any of these have functions, if they are empty on the inside or if they have farms. This one seems to be empty. And what is this? That's kind of like a little blimp looking thing, or maybe a tank. That's cool. A control board. And then is there anything inside of here? This is such a cool detailed build. It looks phenomenal. I love all of the colors. Yeah, so I'm going to say most of these are going to be empty, which makes sense for the amount of time that she's been on the server. And I think the castle's probably the majority of the same way, so that's empty. That's a shulker room, looks like shulker room. I think she's had a ton of planning over here, but she just has not had the time to actually finish it up. Have a helipad here. Got a zombie farm in here. And yeah, some more room. So a ton of room to do a bunch of stuff. And with this being what she put together in season 1, I just can't wait to see what she does in season 2. No pressure, Dark. Moving on to my base area, I started off this area really strong with building this house here, but I just didn't have the time to finish up the detail and whatnot. I did have a ton of planning to go in here and add some more stuff over here to the side, and then do a complete interior for both of the floors inside of here, and take out all of the water and the frogs from inside of there as well. But I just got preoccupied with too many other things, and I think I really spread myself too thin on season 1. And that's one of the things that I really want to fix for season 2. So season 2, one of my main things that I'm going to be working on is going to be only allowing myself to do up to 5 things at once. So I'm not going to be able to have a build here, a build there, a build there. I'm going to have 5 active things that I'm going to be working on at one time. And I cannot move on to a new one until one of those things is fully completed, totally done, whether it be the redstone or whether it be the build that surrounds the redstone. It all has to be 100% done before I move on. And that's also going to include that the redstone's going to be fully encased by a build, which should be a really big challenge for me because I don't wrap any of my redstone in builds unless it's underground. So it's going to be a new learning curve for me. One of my main goals for season 1 was to really start to branch out whenever it comes to building, and I think that I really started doing that and actually got pretty good at it by the end of the season. Now I started with stuff like this because normally to make a wheat farm I would just put all this underground inside of a small compact little farm, but I really wanted to branch out and make a wheat farm to where you can come in here and manually harvest it. However, this is more or less for looks rather than automation. And then underneath here we also have a nether wart farm, which was really handy in making all of the red nether brick. And then we have this beautiful barn over here, Now, this barn I cannot take credit for because halfway through the season I ended up having Gigi put this together, and if you can't tell, just like anything else, she completely blew it out of the park. Now, I did go back and add this silo in here, which I think complements it very well, and I added in all of the interior here to where all of the storage system will sort everything out. Now, this did work pretty good, however, this did not sort out any of the specific items, so it would mainly sort out like a main item. Now, for example, it would sort out a main common material such as grass or something like that, or maybe even the smooth stone. However, it would not sort out any of the variants such as the stairs, slabs, or anything like that. That's going to be changed in Season 2 because I want to be building and designing a multi-item sorter. That way my sorting system can sort out everything that I need it to inside of a small compact area. Now, moving on to one of my favorite places on the server is Gigi's base. Gigi is a tremendously talented builder. As you can see, every single build that she has built has such an amazing amount of detail. This here is her iron farm, but looking at each one of her builds, you really can't choose one to be the best out of any of the other ones because they're all very, very cool looking. This one is more of like a cathedral or a church, and then we have multiple other builds too. I believe most all of these builds have a purpose, so most of these will have a farm in them or something that is of use to her. This one here is one of her main starter houses. This is the one that I ended up rebuilding after I accidentally blew up a wither inside of it. That was very early on the season, so hopefully you didn't miss that. But one of the things that I love the most about her base is it doesn't matter where you go, every inch has something that is customized and built to look better than the original Minecraft terrain. She has a vast variety of different size builds all over the place, and then a pathing network going all over the place. One going underneath the clock tower, which is her main entrance, and then a bunch of other builds that are just surrounding this lake. Over here, there's another little house here, which I think used to be her wool farm. I'm not quite sure what that is now. And then she has her villagers over here inside of this little facade that goes back into the hillside. And then over here, I believe, is her storage room down under here, which goes into her storage area. I'm sure all of the pranks that I've done on this season, you are really familiar with the inside of here. And then just overall a bunch of other stuff. If you want a full tour of all of this, I believe she has already released her final episode, which was kind of a tour showing off most of this. And we also have some more that extends over here towards the shopping district. We have a really cool fountain area. We have some houses here, which are kind of like townhouses. Again, very, very detailed and look really good. Some custom trees, which are really impressive. I have yet to try to make some of these. And then we have a path, which I believe she recently added, going up to this abandoned area up here, which I think is an old ruins. But this is a really cool path that she added too. And this came out phenomenal. And that takes you all the way up here to the ruins, which all of this was custom built as well, and really, really came out cool. Heading towards the shopping district, she also has this little water wheel that goes down inside of the water, which is a really cool looking feature. And then she has this bridge that goes across towards the shopping district. I think I forgot to cover these couple builds here. This is a fish tank that she added behind her shop. Then we also have DSP's shop here, which he sold a bunch of potions in. And also a armor stand shop, which is Renee's. And then we have the bank, which I think Gigi just built this more or less to make a bank. I don't think that this really had any purpose as far as like a shop goes, but it's still a really cool concept and a great idea. If we turn around here, we have a couple tributes. And this tribute here is to Technoblade, where he passed away mid-season, unfortunately. We do also have the Technoblade pigs, which I'm sure you've seen on the Project Bedrock. They are server-wide, so they should be on everybody's video in order to commemorate them. Unfortunately, after Technoblade passed away, we had TFC on the Hermitcraft server that ended up passing away as well, which was very, very sad, and he will be missed along with Technoblade. I ended up making this to kind of commemorate him, where it's a giant cast iron skillet with TFC for Tinfoil Chef carved into it, forever burning, and the griddle that it is on is actually a mine, because one of the things that Tinfoil Chef loved to do was go down in the mines and mine for diamonds. If you come around to this side, you can see that there's a bunch of signage, plus a bunch of diamonds that we gave in order to tribute TFC. just to kind of commemorate him and let everybody know that he is gone, but he is not forgotten. Then unfortunately several weeks ago we were struck by another content creator's loss, which is Jelly. I'm sure most all of you guys know, if you're familiar with watching content creation for Minecraft, then you probably know who Good Times with Scar is, and his beloved cat Jelly. Jelly unfortunately ended up passing away after living a very long and happy life, but Jelly left a very long-standing impression on the Minecraft community, and I'm sure in everybody else's hearts as well. I do want to thank Gigi for throwing this together. It is really amazing, and it was very, very sweet of her to add this into our Season 1 to commemorate the three of them. Jelly may be gone, but she'll live on in Minecraft forever, and we'll always be grateful for all of the memories that you and Scar have given us throughout the years. And that goes for the three of you. You are gone, but never forgotten. Well, I think I've circled around this place enough. Let's go ahead and give a recap of everything that we got going on here, because as you can see, I have built an absolute ton. And the factory is pretty much done. Before we go into the factory itself, we are going to look around at everything that we have going on out here. First thing that you might notice is this absolutely massive lighthouse. And I've actually had to build this thing a few times. On the time lapse, I built it entirely too wide, so I had to kind of shrink the walls in and more or less build the entire thing twice. Luckily, it did not have a house attached to it at that point, so it wasn't too much work, but I'm glad that I did because it looks proportionate for the area now for a lighthouse. And I'm really overall happy with how it came out. I think the best way to show you this area is again going to be on foot. So let me go down here and find this crafting table. And we can jump into it. Now, unfortunately, to my lack of time for having to build like a mad lad, I put a message up on the Project Bedrock server seeing if anybody would volunteer to come in and actually do the interior to this place, and Dark Knight actually accepted the offer and she came in. I told her that, well, I'd be glad to give you some diamonds, but it's kind of pointless because, well, the season is ending as of this episode. So I figured that I would give her a massive shout out for blowing this out of the park. Starting off, we have a first bedroom in here, which is a nice cozy little bedroom. Got some posters and stuff all over the wall, and I think that our build style looks clean but lived in. However, it's not overdone to where it's too much, and that goes the same way with the bedroom over here. Let's close that door behind us and move over into this one. We have a nice little bedroom in here as well with two twin beds, and again some phenomenal decorations inside of this room. Making our way out here, we have another room over inside of here, which I think this is more of like a office space or maybe even a kitchen. Yeah, I'm going to go with like a downstairs kitchen is probably what this looks like to me. Nevertheless, it looks really cool. And then across the way here, we have a closet, which is underneath the stairs just to store a bunch of stuff in. And then if we go around here, this will actually take us up the stairs to the main living area. And we have a ton of decoration all the way around here. I think this is a nice little seating area for you to enjoy your breakfast, dinner, or whatever you'd like. And then if we go around here, we have another little seating area here and potentially like a studying area. And then we have a living room type of deal in here. We have a couple other random things over here like a lamp and some barrels, a cauldron. And then we have some more tables, counters, stuff like that. This will lead out to the balcony out back. And then this also has another door on the side there. Let's go ahead and close that. And then we also have this that leads out to a front balcony as well. And then if we go back in here, close that door, we can go through here. And this door will take us into the lighthouse. And if we go down here, there's actually a lower door here that goes into the bottom portion as well. This lighthouse also has a door here where you can access it from outside. And then we also have a little storage room down here. We can close that. And then we're going to take this all the way up to the top of the lighthouse. And it's kind of a winding path all the way up. But I did the best that I could to get these stairs as even and consistent looking as possible. I think that they really came out good. And then once we get to the very top, you can see all of the working mechanism. Now, it's not going to be working right now because obviously it's daytime out. But this does actually work. And the way that it works is we have a couple hoppers here with 3 items in each one that are being locked. And whenever it's nighttime, it will unpower that, allowing these to unlock. And then you're going to have all 3 of those go through the hoppers at the same time. And then the items are going to be read by the comparators facing into those lamps, which is going to give us a nice rotating effect all the way throughout the lighthouse. We can also climb up here and go to the very top of the lighthouse. Just be sure not to fall off, but it is a lovely view up here, and very, very high up. Now looking down, we have an answer as to how the factory gets all of the material that it needs to run. We have a ferry that comes in and brings vehicles to the factory. This particular vehicle that it has brought is going to be a semi-truck that's backed up to the loading dock in order to unload. And then we also have a barge that's carrying a bunch of containers. Those containers are of course full of all of the materials that are going to be required for this factory to keep operating. But instead of just sitting up here and pointing, why don't we go down and actually take a look, starting off where we left off. So if we go down here to the stairway, we have a path that kind of goes all over the place. We have this one that goes to the shipping area. This one's going to go up to the factory. Let's head this way first. And this is going to come up to where the ferry is. We have some docks with a bunch of barrels kind of scattered throughout the entire area. And this is the ferry that brought the semi-truck in. As you can see, the semi-truck backed straight off of the ferry and ended up backing all the way up to the factory here. That way it can be unloaded. Now, if you told me at the beginning of this episode that I was going to be building a semi-truck out of diorite, I probably would not have believed you, but you know what? It works, and I'm actually overall very happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If we go up the stairs past the sheep, we have some more barrels, and we have a container mover. I don't know the technical name for this machine, but these are the ones that are going to pick up the container and actually move them around. Just like the crane over here, however, the crane is obviously tied to where it's at, so it can only swivel and pick stuff up off of the barges and container ships, whereas this thing can drive wherever you need it to in order to place the container wherever you need it. So we have some more barrels here, more barrels there, plenty of storage. You can never have enough storage. And then we have containers all over the place. We have a red container here, and then we have a plethora of containers over here, another red container there, black one, gray one. You get the idea. It's a loading dock. There's a ton of containers. We also have a empty slip here for a new boat to go in. That way we don't tie up everything, but the barge is blocking off this one over here currently. Unfortunately, this barge is too big to come inside of here, so we just had to put it a long ways here. Now, typically these are pushed around by a tugboat. The tugboat has long since dropped this off so it could be unloaded and went to pick up another barge, so it is gone and not here. I would have built it if I had the time, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it, and that's the reason why there's not a tugboat. Now, after sleeping and making it daylight again, we can see much better. You can see that we have a old crane here that is responsible for, as mentioned, swiveling around and unloading this barge. That way we can put these containers onto the dock, and then they can be moved around to wherever they need to go by the machine, which is really, really cool. I absolutely loved how this little ferry came out, and I kind of went with a pass-through design on it. So this ferry can actually go both ways. It can either back up and land on the other shore with this all the way down as the ramp, and then that one would be up, and then you can do it vice versa as well. So that one would be down like it is, and that one up. So you can essentially have this to where the cars just drive straight through without having to turn around or anything. And then the control room is actually a pass-through tunnel as well, which a lot of these in real life have. And then you can go up here and actually captain the boat from the little captain room. As you can see, these actually have two control centers. That way you can drive it either way that you want. Down inside of the bottom, there's not much to see here as it is totally empty. If you want to come on the world and fill this up, be my guest. But again, it comes down to a time thing, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you at this point because I've already told you about 15 million times. Don't worry though, because we have season 2 coming up, and boy, there's going to be a lot of time for season 2, and this is just scratching the surface. You guys won't believe what I have planned. So let's continue walking around this on the outside before we go on the inside. Now, don't mind the random chest and stuff. I still have a lot of cleaning up to do, and no, I have not stocked the materials yet. All of that's going to be done before the end of the season, as I still have a couple bugs to figure out with that as well. But we have a couple benches here and over there. And then if we walk this way, it comes through a little forest area, kind of. And we have a wall there, that way you don't have to see all of the containers and whatnot. That's going to go inside of there. I have it blocked off now because it's not all the way spawn proof. A path leading all the way around. Another door, as I'm sure you're probably familiar with the doors on the factory. And this path is going to continue all the way down and pretty much encircle the entire building. And I'm getting hungry just running around this place. Another door there. Another door there. This I'm going to fill in as a wall that does not need to have a door there. And then the path comes around here. And I kind of did a little break area around back where we have a cool little pond with some fishes. Now these fish are not your typical fish. Typical fish swim. These fish are confused fish. It's a special species, and due to Minecraft Bedrock bugs, if you put them on a mud block, they just go in circles. They're disco fish. Like I said, it's a subspecies of tropical fish. So maybe one of these days my fish pond will work correctly, but being on Bedrock Edition, I'm not going to hold my breath because I will quickly run out of air. But we have some nice flowers which were recently added several updates ago, which I think add a nice ambiance to the area and really complement the spinning fishes. Again, we have a bench there. We have a bench there. We have these beautiful cherry trees. I was going to do custom trees, but I just, again, didn't have the time. But the cherry trees add such a nice ambiance with having all of the petals falling down. I really do like that added feature. I think that they need to do that with a few of the other ones. Maybe even add seasons to where whenever it's fall time, you'll have a bunch of petals coming down. We have this path going down here, hooking up to the original bridge for the path. This is also going to go all the way around up the staircase and meet into the path that we just came down. And then we can go up here, and this path is going to continue around to the inside of the factory. And then this will also continue around back to the lighthouse and complete the circle that we just went all the way around. Now on this semi truck, I tried to do a lot of detail. It's got a roll up door on it, some brake lights. It's got dualies on the rear, dualies on the front. So you have all 18 wheels. And I actually spent a lot of time trying to design this thing properly, and even added a couple banners, which is kind of out of my style, but I really like the way that it came out. Got a nice cattle pusher on the front, and just overall a really cool truck. Yeah, I know it's not the best out there, but I was proud of it. Like I said, I'm really becoming a better builder, and that was overall my goal with Season 1. Now let's head on into the factory. I still have to go around and spawn proof all this. I'm going to be doing that off of camera. Once I'm done with that, all of these little gates can come off of here. But for now, we're just going to fly under it. And not much has changed inside of this area because this area has, for the most part, been done. But most of the other stuff that I have added has been in this area here. And as you can see, we have a ton of different factory machines inside of here. We have conveyor belts, we have stampers. Now, this is not my design. This I originally got from B-Dubs, which I believe was the original creator of this, but it's a really cool design where you have the minecart coming down through it. And then we also have a bunch of wagons. That way we can move the materials around as needed. We have a forklift to help move those materials around as well. We have some more conveyor belts inside of the center here that we probably shouldn't walk across. And then we have a huge hopper over here. The tree farm off to the side. And then if we turn all the way around, we have that hopper feeding another conveyor system with some more stampers here. Some more components that are all required in the manufacturing process. As you can see, we actively have some stone going down the conveyor. That's the stamper that's going to stamp that. Some more manufacturing components that looks like it's doing something. And then we have the finished output coming out, which is all of these observers. Again, underneath another stamping machine. Whoa. And apparently I need to do something with this hole in the floor. And then over here we have another little mini conveyor belt which comes out, and that's where all of this stuff is actually put into the wagon to be loaded off. And in this case, the finished product is going to be observers. That way we can produce a ton of observers and get them out to the redstone shop. Over here on the left hand side, we have a bunch of redstone blocks. We have a bunch of stone as well. The amethyst is over there, cobblestone's there. So we have a bunch of materials lingering around here. And I just really like the atmosphere. However, there is one thing missing because it doesn't really feel like much of a factory. Yeah, I mean, we do have that overhead crane, just like the other side, and that came out really cool as well. I still feel like something's missing. Factories need to be loud. Factories need to have moving stuff. I wonder what happens if I hit this switch. Whoa, I hear a bunch of noise. Okay. Yeah, this is more like it. This is more like it. I'm liking this. Yeah. There we go. Let's take a look at it now. Okay. So what we have over here, we have a conveyor belt that is a high-speed conveyor belt. And as you can see, as things are passing underneath these stamper machines, these are stamping. And then they're going down through there to the rest of the factory. We have a hopper here that is going to be putting out a bunch of cobblestone. And that's being fed into this conveyor belt here, going through these machines. And then once it gets into this machine, we have a giant stamping press, which is then going to make the blocks from the tiny version to the small version. I understand that you have questions, just trust the process. It has to do with proton beams and something about a flux capacitor. But anyways, after these are artificially inflated into full-size cobblestone blocks, they're then going to go underneath the stamping press in order to be prepped for the manufacturing die that's going to stamp down. I really need to cover up this hole and make them into working functional observers. And as you can see, whenever they go down through here, they're going to have their final bolts tightened, working their way into the conveyor belt to where they will eventually be compressed by the compressing machine into the small version again, and then they're going to be loaded into this cart, which is all very, very cool. It's definitely starting to feel like more of a factory now, huh? Now, for example, if I wanted to make 5 observers, I could turn this lever on to activate this module. I could turn this around, point it towards that observer, and then I could select the amount that I want to make. So we'll just take 5 out of there, grab that, and we'll put the 5 inside of the counting system. And as soon as we close that chest, it's going to start counting the 5 out. And then whenever the 5 is done counting, we can go over here to the center conveyor. And that should be dispensing all of the materials required in order to make the 5 observers. And there you have it, the exact amount to make exactly 5 observers. Pretty cool, right? Well, my friends, it has been some time since that last clip. I've been very, very busy putting this video together. I've been working on it for well over 2 weeks, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I did not have enough time to finish everything that I wanted to. I really wanted to get out to the industrial district because I really had some cool plans for out there. I wanted to take that ocean monument and basically make it something that was dug up and preserved like it was found from being lost in time. And then I wanted to surround the entire hole with some overgrowth, and then have it coming out, having pathways go all over the industrial district, and then have some giant trees and rooted stuff coming out holding up all of the farms and stuff like that. That way they were all fully encased. I had so many ideas for season 1, but unfortunately time is what's going to be the limiting factor here. And that unfortunately is due to all of the admin stuff that I have to do, getting the season 2 ready to go, and of course being an active member of season 2. I may not have finished everything that I wanted to, but you know what? I'm proud of it. This season has really pushed me to become a better builder and a better player in general. And all honesty, guys, I just really can't wait to see what season 2 has in store for us. We have an incredible group joining us for season 2, and I can guarantee you it's just going to be so much fun having all these new members. So with that being said, I'm wrapping up this video today because season 2 starts tomorrow morning, which is Saturday morning, and I'll see you then in a brand new world. Until then, the world download has released. You've probably already seen it on my channel, but in case you haven't, you can click that link in the top right now, or I'll also link that inside of an end card. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a true OG because this video is absolutely crazy in length, but I ended up taking a vote and you guys decided that you wanted to have a long movie for a final episode, and it's really overall been a lot of fun making. With that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning in a brand new world. See you there.